I broke up with my girlfriend because of what her dead boyfriend's dad says to me. So my girlfriend's ex died in a car crash like 3 years before we started dating. She told me about it pretty early on, and honestly, I felt bad for her. That's a lot to go through. She said she was over it, but still stayed close with his parents because they were like family to her. I get it. Grief is weird, and people handle it different ways. About 4 months into us dating, she asked if I wanted to meet them. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be super awkward. Like, what do you even say in that situation? But she kept saying how important they were to her, and how they'd love to meet me, so I agreed. Figured I'd just show up, be polite, shake some hands, and that'd be that. First visit was fine at first. His mom was nice, made cookies, asked me normal questions like where I went to school and what my family was like. Then his dad started talking. He was going on and on about his son, which I expected. But then he turned to me and asked what I did for work. I told him I'm an accountant. He looked at my hands, then looked back up at me and said, "Yeah, I could tell. Your hands haven't seen any real work." Then he laughed like it was a joke. I just kind of smiled and didn't say anything because what are you supposed to say to that? My girlfriend didn't seem to notice or care. On the drive home, I mentioned it and she said he was probably just trying to be funny and that I shouldn't take it so seriously. But it kept happening. Every single time we went over there, which ended up being like once every 2 weeks, he'd find some way to compare me to his son. One time he was showing me pictures of his son working on this old truck in their driveway. He said, "Now that's a real man right there. Someone who knows how to use his hands." Then he looked at me and said, "I bet you've never even changed your own oil, have you?" I hadn't, but I also don't even own a car. I live in the city and take the train to work. I told him that and he just shook his head like I said something disappointing. Another time we were all sitting in the living room and he started talking about how his son used to play football in high school. Full contact, tough as nails, all that stuff. Then he asked me if I played any sports. I told him I ran cross country. He literally laughed and said, "Cross country? That's just running away from real competition." My girlfriend was sitting right there and she didn't say a word. I looked at her hoping she'd back me up or tell him to stop, but she just sipped her tea and acted like nothing happened. It got to the point where I dreaded going over there. I'd feel sick to my stomach the whole day before. One time I tried to get out of it by saying I had a work thing, but she got upset and said I was being flaky, so I went. That visit, he asked me if I knew how to fix a leaky faucet. I said I usually just call the landlord. He said, "Figures. Kids these days don't know how to do anything themselves." After that visit, I finally told my girlfriend I didn't want to go anymore. I wasn't mean about it. I just said her ex's dad clearly didn't like me, and I didn't feel comfortable being disrespected like that every time. She got mad, like really mad. She said I was being insecure, and that I shouldn't feel threatened by a dead guy. I told her it wasn't about him, it was about his dad treating me like garbage. She said I was overreacting, and that he was just trying to keep his son's memory alive. Then she said something that I can't stop thinking about. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Maybe he's right. Maybe you do need to be more manly." I just sat there. I didn't even know what to say. This was my girlfriend, the person who's supposed to have my back, and she just agreed with some guy who's been tearing me down for months. I asked her if she actually believed that. She didn't answer right away. Then she said she didn't know, but that I could at least try harder to impress them. Try harder. Like I was failing some test I didn't even know I was taking. That's when I realized she wasn't over her ex. Maybe she thought she was, but she wasn't. And I was never going to measure up to a dead guy who got turned into some perfect memory. Every time his dad talked about him, she just nodded along like it was all true. She never defended me, not once. I broke up with her 2 days later. She cried and said I was being dramatic. Said I was throwing away a good relationship over nothing. But it wasn't nothing. I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life being compared to someone who isn't even here anymore.